Welcome back to DC Silver Age Story Time, and we have more Fun Comics number 70, published in August 1941. And this story is called The Crimson Circle Mystery Society. So on this cover we have Dr. Fate, not the Spectre. This is the final Spectre story in my Golden Age Spectre archives. And after I finish the story, I'll talk about that a little bit more. So we open with a fellow named Granger who gets a message saying, "You are going to die tonight." So he calls the police. Not really sure why his killer announced that he was going to die, but he tries to escape, and some ghostly hands grab his wheel, and the car goes off a bridge to his death. So Jim Corrigan is sent out to investigate, and he goes as the Spectre to take a look at the bridge, and looks back in time and sees those spectral hands, and starts to put the pieces together, and suddenly a figure appears. "I warn you, Spectre, keep your hands off this affair." And the Spectre gives chase. He grabs hold of this being, but loses it in the darkness of infinite space. So he goes back and, let's see here. We get another person. Well, okay, this fellow comes and says he has information about this secret society, the Crimson Circle Mystic Society. And they, let's see, more or less in search of novelty, but when the elders of the cults demanded a large portion of my weekly salary and I refused, I received threats. And so as the Spectre, he goes to protect the man who is being threatened and sees that spectral spirit again. "You are going to die, Munson, tonight." So the Spectre attempts to stop the killing, but is unable to. Clawing hands materialize out of empty air to fasten in a strangling grip about Munson's throat. So again, this being escapes. "You are powerless to prevent Munson's death. That should prove its folly for you to interfere." So Jim Corrigan decides what he's going to do is he's going to infiltrate the Crimson Circle Mystic Society and meets their leader. Corrigan immediately notes the hypnotic quality of the eyes of Bandar, the cult's leader, and he appears to have a hypnotic control over these men in there, and they all appear to be men, and is able to order them to criminal acts, and then somehow can also cause them to lose their memory after committing these crimes. But Jim Corrigan is not affected because he is, of course, the Spectre. So one of the members of the society tells Bandar that he's a cop. And so as they're driving along, they attempt to murder Jim Corrigan and dump his body out. But, of course, it has no effect on the Spectre. And so they're going to go out. He wants to go out and kill somebody else because one of the members says, "One more thing I must report, Bandar. Neil Baxter, like Ralph Granger, believes that he can quit the cult of his own volition." So what Bandar is able to do is send out, so powerful is the seer's will that he succeeds in separating his astral self from his body. And so the Spectre follows his astral self, and he is going to, I guess, cause this train to crash by controlling the conductor's mind. Spectre says, "Release him from that trance." Spectre, I'll do nothing of the kind, but the Spectre does. So the Spectre is able to prevent the tragedy. And then the two of them get in a fight, although it looks more like they're dancing. "Die, Spectre, one last resort." So he brings out, of course, the Ring of Life. The blazing light, I can't stand it. He decides he's going to escape back to his body, but the Spectre arrives before him and blasts his body out of existence. The end of Bandar and his rule of occult evil. Unable to enter its body, the helpless entity is whirled far into dimensional space, rendered impotent by the Spectre's by the Spectre, powerless to harm the world of the living and any longer. And so the chief of police says, no more mysterious deaths now that the Crimson Circle Society, Mystic Society is gone. Best of all, the society has been permanently disbanded. But crime still flourishes on the earth, and the Spectre has many more exciting encounters ahead. I really don't think he could ever end all crime. I don't even think he's making any progress. But anyway, this is not the final Spectre story from the Golden Age, but DC, I don't think, has ever reprinted them. And my understanding is that the series took a radical change. They added a character named Percival Pop, the super cop, and the Spectre became just kind of a ghost with him, and it was a joke. It was meant for I guess young children, and the Spectre was now a bit player in his own strip. So I think DC just had no interest in reprinting these. The book is actually not that big. The Dr. Fate book is considerably larger, so it wasn't that they couldn't have done it. They certainly could have put a lot more stories, or they could have done a archive number 2, but never bothered. So this is it. There is more Spectre from the Justice Society, and it's not going to be for quite a while, but I would like to go through and do the Justice Society stories also. But that is it. That is all the Spectre Golden Age stories, besides the Justice Society, that I plan to do.